up, everybody? Welcome to another Manic Monday here on the OH.Report video podcast, your one-stop shop for all this intelligent conversation you can possibly handle from the world of sports, food, entertainment, just what other dumb things we can come up with from day to day. That's what you're about to get right here. My name is Brian Skronsky. I'm kind of like, I don't know, the burger of the meat of the burger here, I would say, on the show, if that makes any sense, maybe. Let's meet the buns now. Even though we can't eat buns, how about Hayden Gray? What's up?
What's up? Yeah, hey. Yeah, they do make some kind of like cardboard flavored, but they do make some buns I can't eat, so I'm a cardboard bun on the bottom.
So it's at least available for you.
It's available.
If you just want to give up the taste buds.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
And Travis, we know that you get down on a few grains throughout the weekend.
You're darn right. I mean, look at this figure with all those grains. I do want to take the time to welcome one Storm Blunchley to baseball fandom. A week ago, he was on this podcast saying how terrible baseball was with G-Man, but he then watched a game. And what is your opinion on the sport now, my friend?
Watched some of the Tigers play, and it was actually really fun. Watched two games, actually, both versus the White Sox, and got to see Javi Baez hit a walk-off in his first game as a Tiger, so maybe I've fallen in love with baseball. I don't know.
Welcome. We have name tags and everything for you, man, so, you know.
It was a lot of fun, man. It was pretty awesome, I won't lie.
I'm proud of you.
Well, welcome to the Baseball Fandom Club. I don't know if I really have a spot at that table just yet, but who knows? Maybe I'll be swayed throughout the course of the summer. They are just getting started. Of course, baseball underway now. Huge weekend of sports overall. UFC 273 went down. The Masters crowned a champion. NBA wrapped up. So there was a lot to really take in if you enjoy sports. So I want to know, Storm, I guess we'll start with you. You took in a little bit of the Tigers. How else did you spend your weekend? What were you watching sports-wise?
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, the Tigers, watched Javi Baez walk it off. But other than that, NBA is my thing pretty much. Watched the Hawks blow a big game that they really needed to the Heat. Watched the Cavs choke, unfortunately. I was really pulling for them and Darius Garland and Evan Mobley. And I watched the Pistons get throttled 2 nights in a row. But, hey, that's what I wanted because we're going for that number 1 pick. We do have tied with the best odds at 14% in the Chet Holmgren lottery sweepstakes. So it was an interesting week in the NBA, and then the play-in tournament's right around the corner. So I'm pretty excited.
G-Man, what was you watching?
I was actually watching some combine tape for some potential NFL prospects. I know that's not the sexy answer here, but I got to build my own spreadsheet.
Did I get that research?
For the draft for the Vikings. So that's what I was doing. I watched some of the NBA, though. But last week we kind of talked about the Masters, and I stuck to what I said. I didn't watch a single lick of any of the Masters. So,
hey, stick with it.
I seen some guy named Scott won. Never heard of him before. So
Scotty
Shout out to
Scheffler,
Scotty.
number 1 ranked player in the world, won 4 of the last 6 tournaments.
I've never heard of him before. I thought it was like Tiger and Roy McIlroy.
Yeah.
Well, it has been for a long time.
Yeah.
I did find out that he's won 6 out of his last 8 starts.
Yeah.
So that's cooking, man. In the world of golf, that's Tiger-esque.
He's in like 3 months of this year, he's already earned $10.6 million.
Shout out to Scotty.
Yeah,
He's
got the bag.
So are you going to share some notes with the Vikings? What are you doing with this research?
There's a group on Twitter that I'm in, like a little community, and we kind of just go around and kind of share like pros and cons with some draft prospects. I was searching with Derek Stingley Jr., the corner out of LSU, and Sauce Gardner, and Tyler Lindenbaum, who's a center for Iowa. Those are kind of the guys I want at pick 14. I don't think Sauce Gardner or Stingley is going to be there, so we might end up trading back. I don't know yet, but it's a complicated process. I'm kind of a little over my head, but it's a lot of fun.
So you're getting a little taste of what it would be like to be a NFL GM.
I would love to be an NFL GM. Absolutely love it.
Well, maybe if Minnesota, if you're out there, if you're keeping an eye, up-and-coming talent right here, going to the Twitter threads, you can see all the knowledge nuggets being dropped by our own G-Man. All right, what was you watching this weekend, Travis?
Well, those country roads took me home, so I was able to watch some of my teams. I watched the Masters. Tiger Woods, impressive the first 2 days, and then I think he just got worn out with the leg.
It didn't look like he was moving very good yesterday.
No, he went, 6 over the last 2 rounds, finished plus 13. So I watched the first couple of days of that. I watched my Pirates finally get a win last night. Grand Slam helped that out. They really put it up. The Penguins as well. Don't have a chance to watch them too much over here. Saw them get a win against Nashville yesterday. And then I watched a little bit of the Celtics-Grizzlies games as well yesterday, but nobody was playing with anybody, so the Celtics just completely steamrolled the Grizzlies. But, you know, like me, I love all sports, so I was able to catch a lot over the weekend.
Yeah, speaking of not playing anybody, I'm sure that you saw the Bucks not putting anybody on the floor, at least of their relevant players, and the Cavs kind of blast them.
Yeah, no. I mean, the game started off with Drew Holiday getting the bag. He did enter the game and immediately committed the foul so he could get out to get a salary incentive. So,
Nice.
there were some stars out for them for a few seconds. But, yeah, like Storm said, watch them drop that one. Wasn't what you wanted to see. Well, they dropped Friday's game, excuse me. But, I mean, it was
a
nice.
big one, too.
Yeah,
That could have got them
that was
home
the
against
one.
the Nets. And
Yeah.
yeesh.
But yeah, I am like G-Man. I stuck to my word and did not watch any golf. Sorry, golf fans. But yeah, took in the Cavs,
Goodbye,
and that
friends.
was really what. Yeah, sorry, friends. But that was really all I took in. And yeah, I mean, we're getting ready for, as Storm said, for the play-in Tuesday. They'll get another home game, so all preparation for that.
I'm really proud of the Cavs getting that win, even though it was against the backups.
Yeah.
And just another sellout crowd at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. I think that's what's cool to see is that basketball's back, baby. We were talking a little bit beforehand, Kyrie's rookie year and how easy it was to get tickets. Now it's one of the hottest sales in town right now. So I thought that was cool. I did keep an eye on the Guardians out in Kansas City, and I just tried my best. This was a game for myself, just trying not to call them the Indians or the
Yeah.
Tribe or the Wahoos or anything that no longer is relevant. And I'm not able to do it yet. I think it's going to be probably towards the end of the season before
It's gonna
I
take a while.
finally am using the word Guardians in its appropriate manner. One thing that definitely caught my eye at UFC 273, I watched the Sterling versus Peter Yan fight, and it really challenges my own man cardness, if you will. Like I feel like I need to turn it in because you're watching, and just blow for blow, it looks like these guys should just be going down. It should be over, and I don't know how they continue to get these cuts and these big bruises on their face, these kicks to the mouth, and they just keep going. It's astounding that also is a human being just like me. But I don't want no part of that. They're a different breed, a different style. So definitely got in that UFC 273. And then it was a beautiful Sunday in Augusta. So anybody who did not tune in to the beautiful pipes of Jim Nance and everybody out there on the golf course, you really did miss out. I'm hearing some yawns coming in from the back of the room, and that's okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I got to pick it up. So Scotty Scheffler, though, as mentioned, he's been winning a lot. He's hotter than like a poodle in a sauna right now. So keep an eye on that guy. He's going to be the new name to probably watch in golf. But there's a lot of good younger and/or now guys that have progressed into their 30s players. So I do think the PGA Tour is in a good place. I was satisfied with taking in the Masters down at Buffalo Wild Wings, where it was on every single one of their 85 TVs. So I saw it from every
Newly
angle.
renovated BW3s.
Yeah, we'll talk about them actually here in a little bit when we dive into some food. But one thing that is really interesting, gentlemen, OHSA announced last week that they are considering a proposal very similar to the college model that would allow athletes to profit off of their name, image, and likeness. So, G-Man, we're going to let you start with this since you're kind of got your GM cap on. True. What do you think is going to change with high school sports? How might things look different if they approve this by next year?
Well, I think what would change the most is that I think it would help some people that maybe don't play sports, maybe want to get out there and make some money. I mean, to be completely honest with you, it gives them another factor to want to play sports and be dedicated and care a little bit more. But it's a slippery slope. It's kind of dicey. I think they need to let it go out in the collegiate level a little bit longer just to kind of see how the process works. I don't know if maybe handing a high schooler that kind of age some cash right away. I think give it a year or so in the college, kind of see how it works out. But I don't know how much is going to change the game, but I think on the side of it'll help get more players out and show some more dedication to some of those players that really care and truly do, have the grind of an athlete to go out there and give it their all. So that's my take. I don't have a huge one on it, so I kind of actually want to hear what you guys had to say about it.
That's interesting. I wonder if the top-level athletes will actually grind a little bit harder in the offseason to try to get some bucks, like you said, go after that bag. Storm, do you think that it will change much of the game of high school sports, or maybe not even notice?
That I'm not really sure about it. I don't really know the fine print about everything, but like Garrett said, to me it seems like a very slippery slope. It just in the collegiate level in the past couple years before all this happened, there was a lot of shady stuff going on with money and how you couldn't pay athletes. So I don't know if that's going to transfer over into high school. It seems like there might be a transfer problem to somewhere like some of these smaller schools might have it where, maybe you're not getting as much exposure in a small area, so you transfer somewhere bigger, rendering like these small schools to not really have anybody. So I don't know. On one hand, it gives an incentive to play harder, which I'm always a fan of better competition. But on the other hand, there's not really ethical things, but I think there are some other shadier things that we're going to have to worry about.
I think that you might actually see quite the opposite of that. So say you're in small school Lucas and you're just the star out there. A couple of the businesses around there might want to give you a couple of bucks to throw on their t-shirt or something, whereas if you transfer to a Mansfield Senior, now you're competing with a lot more kids that are probably trying to go after that NIL type of activity. So it might actually help small schools in the long run.
Or you get some of these private schools or a St. Vincent St. Mary that has a certain celebrity with a bunch of money putting, hey, let's put into this little side pocket thing. If you come to my school, I'll give you this couple grand to play for my school. Or some of these schools down in Columbus, those private schools, I know there's people that have some funds already to send kids to games and whatever. They might be using that now to bring some of their best players just so Columbus can continue to be the main place for state championships in basketball and football. It's a slippery slope. If they can control it correctly where that doesn't happen, that's great. Like you said, for players from Lucas, if they, some of the businesses put the shirt on, maybe, later down the line, hey, we'll give you a couple bucks to throw an OH.Report shirt on or something like that. That's great. But it's getting to the point where some of these private schools may be able to, dish out some money. Oh yeah, I'll take you away from a rival school to come to a private school. You can't, all that transfer stuff doesn't have to happen. And that's another thing. What's next? Are we going to have a transfer portal now in high school as well, where they can
trades.
They can move off to somewhere? You might have some kids from, like you said, Lucas, maybe getting swayed away to a Madison or a Mansfield Senior and whatnot. I don't know.
It's interesting.
It's like they said, it's slippery. It is.
It seems like it's becoming a little bit more big business over the last few years. Now that there's so many more companies like an OH.Report, obviously not as cool as us, but trying to profit off of high school kids, putting paywalls and doing live streams. It does seem like it's getting elevated to a new level, though I do appreciate the empowerment of the student athlete, and I've never understood at the college level or even high school, why wouldn't you be able to make money off of yourself?
I mean, if it's controlled correctly, why not? Absolutely.
So I think this is probably for the better, but I want to know what Hayden thinks.
Man, I've gone through the gauntlet of thinking this over in my head ever since I did see, it was kind of like, I think it was around Tuesday of last week, a lot of news came out about it, and I think you really nailed it, Travis, by saying it's a control thing. You're welcome. No. And unfortunately, that's one of those things, it is going to be the biggest part. It's, I don't think it's something that we've been talking about, who has an upper hand, small schools, private schools. I don't think that you could ever ensure fairness if this were to go into action. I just don't think that certain schools would all be on the same playing field for it. And again, I think it would have to be so refined, like the fine print would have to be very, very specific. Who's going to lead the charge on controlling it? And I think personally where I still sit at on the balance is I'd prefer it stay away from high school sports. And it's not that I'm against it. I'm not super traditional on a ton of things, but I don't know. I don't know if this has its place. I'm all for it at the college level. I really am. I've, thought that should be something that, should have happened before now, but it's finally having traction. But I don't know. I feel like high school sports is one of the last places for kids to compete that isn't dictated by money. And so my fear is what does that change? And I know we wouldn't know until it happens. So if I would love to educate myself more on this further, and I'm sure that they're still working on laying out all that they would want it to be, because I do agree with you. I think that there should be some empowerment though as well, but I also, we can't just base it off ourselves, but I know how I was in high school, so I don't know. You can't judge every kid by just one kid.
Well, also these kids that are underage, the parents.
Yeah, you're not dealing with the kid. You're
dealing with the parents.
Very true.
Do the kids? Will some of the kids even see some of this money? Are the parents going to start, becoming like their high school agent and trying to get that money that way and try to profit off of their own kids? That's another.
And then what's even the asking price? Like, where do you begin with a high school kid? Hey, you're a great basketball player here in our area. I wonder what they are going to ask. I hope this goes into effect, and by next fall, We'll make a couple phone calls to some of the quarterbacks or the flashy guys in the area and just sit. I just want to know, like, what do you want to throw on an OH.Report T-shirt? I'm pretty fascinated by this whole proposal, and I don't know that there's going to be that many kids here in our area. Like, who would you even offer a contract to? What maybe like 4 or 5 kids that you would think would be at that level could actually promote your brand in a positive manner? Because Taylor Huffs just don't come around all the time.
Right.
Kids that you know are destined for like true greatness.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, a
player,
couple years
an
ago
awesome
with football,
person.
we had Brennan Armstrong, Angelo Gross, Tyrell Ajon, we had Kate. We had a bunch of good players a couple years ago where, some dimes have been dished out for that. But
Right,
you're right.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to think about, like trying to pick an example in my mind. Now, I don't think it would be something where like it would just be tossed out all over the place, left and right. But then I've also seen people say, and that's just where it comes down to how you treat going about things and how you work your way up a ladder. But then they would like, does that cause conflict within a locker room because your quarterback has become to this level, getting all those things, and those are personal things that everyone have to deal with. So yeah, I don't know what the standards would be. The one thing I do know is that they were saying that they couldn't associate their school branding with it or the OHSA.
Yep. Maybe do it in gift cards. Say like an
don't
Applebee's
know.
or B-Dubs spawn. You get,
I feel like that's already done,
You get $50 in gift cards for, I don't know. Yeah.
I honestly didn't know until I saw this presented that high school kids couldn't make money off themselves at that. I didn't know that was not a thing. So we'll see how much this actually changes, because to your point, it seems like we've been giving these kids gifts for a while now.
It's kind of been done in terms of accepting gifts. That stuff gets super technical, but yeah, in a sense, they've been having some of that, like you say, with some companies give out gift cards and we give out stuff.
MVP
so yeah,
gets some MVPs get certain.
So maybe
gift
we've
certificates
been
and whatever.
rule breakers all along and just
Sorry.
OHSA. One statistic, though, that I saw is that less than 7% of high school kids actually go on to play at the collegiate level. And I've seen during my time here, there have been some really good players in the area that don't get college scholarships. So if you're going to monetize that, for some kids, that's as good as it gets playing high school sports. Well, the NBA regular season, it wrapped up yesterday, so it's officially playoff time now in the association. And I truly feel like, as we outlined last week, there's about 8-9 teams that got a good shot at getting the whole enchilada in their system when it's all over. I want to know, who are some of the underdogs? Who do you feel like can make a genuine run past the first round, do some noise, make some damage, that type of thing? Storm, NBA is your universe. We're just living in it. Fill us in. Who's some of the guys that we need to get some money on quick?
Well, I personally think the Toronto Raptors, their matchup versus the 76ers, at this very present moment, Matisse Thybulle is not vaccinated and to my knowledge will not
Can't
be able
play
to
in
play
Toronto.
games in Toronto. And that is huge for an already shallow 76ers team who has not really had James Harden recently, or at least the James Harden we all know. And they trade away guys like Drummond and Curry to Brooklyn. So that's a super shallow team that isn't going to have one of their starters in for half the series. So it's going to be scary for you Philadelphia 76ers fans. I mean, Joel Embiid is going to have to really do his thing, and James Harden is going to have to step up a lot. And I know this kind of contradicts what I said last week on the podcast, but I really do believe the Nets are going to upset the Celtics. And I'm pretty sure I said last week, as long as they don't have to play the Nets, the Celtics are the championship favorite. But with Robert Williams being out, not in there to protect the paint versus Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, it's going to be tough. And then Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are going to have to go off for, I'm pretty sure, 50 a night apiece to walk out of there with the win, even though they're, have the home court advantage. But the Nets, man, they're just the best 8 seed in NBA history. There's no doubt about it. And they're a lot of people's favorites to win the finals. So just unfortunate to see that the Celtics, they had that injury late with Robert Williams and that they're going to have to go up against the Celtics. So those are my 2 picks.
Storm, for the Nets to even have to play the C's, there's a team they got to go through first. And I'm not sure if you're aware of this or not, but there's a squad up in Cleveland right now. And I know when you hear the names like Okoro or Cedi Osman, stuff like that, it doesn't have the same type of cachet as maybe a KD or a Kyrie. But I'll tell you this, I think Kevin Love is uniquely qualified to get the Cavs just the right type of spirit and energy. He's a world champion. He's been there. He knows what it takes in Cleveland. Though we got a couple of guys out, starting to hit their stride. We knocked off the Bucks yesterday. We looked pretty good against a bunch of backups. I don't know that the Nets can even get out to play the Celtics. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't know. They just lost to them on Friday night, and they choked in that game in the second half. They had the lead, and the big question to me is Darius Garland. Can he close out big games? That's my big question. Like, who are they going to go to? Are you really going to trust Kevin Love with your last shot? And no diss on Kevin Love. I like him, but he has not been what he used to be earlier in his Cavs career and even in Minnesota. So if it comes down to the wire, who are you putting the ball into their hand? Because it's going to Kevin Durant for the Nets, and he'll score. He will score.
If he gets doubled, then they got Kyrie.
And if they double, they got Kyrie. But are you really going to trust Darius Garland with your last shot? It's that question of who do they go to.
Well, he's going to have the ball in his hand and make the decision who's going to get the last shot. Maybe we'll get playoff Rondo. Maybe he'll have a resurgence when he gets out there. Evan Mobley has returned to the lineup. So it's a young team playing with house money, and I hate that term, but it's true. Like, the Cavs have nothing to lose except for the game in their season. But going up against a team like that, everyone's already counting them out. You didn't even mention the fact that they had to play in the playoff or the play-in game to get past them. So I think the fact that they're on such the back burner here in the kitchen that maybe they'll kind of overlook them.
But I was cheering for him. I was cheering for him on Friday. I wanted him to beat the Nets. So is Jared Allen going to be back?
No.
He practiced without the splint on Sunday. He might be fighting back. If they were to lose, though, to the Nets, it's looking better that Friday at home against either the other two playing.
The Hawks or Hornets, yeah.
Yeah, the Hawks or the Hornets would be then. But he did practice without a splint on Sunday, put up some shots. So, hey, that could be a game changer, too, if he somehow does play against the Nets. I don't know, but that's my pick. It's the Cavs over the Nets. And then, I'm sorry, Adam, but then they go use that momentum, and then they win a series against the Celtics.
No, I do
That's
think
it.
the Celtics would
Lock
beat the
it in.
Cavs in a 7-game
But-
series.
Yes.
Or it's Miami. If they lose and they still make it in the playoffs, maybe the Cavs then upset the top seed. Shock the world right there. Get some momentum going into next year. But like I said, I'm not the big NBA fan, and this is probably not going to happen at all. They'll probably get swept in the first round. But I think the Cavs, it's a one-game, like you said, house money. It's a one-game playoff. Just make it in. It's still good for them, but we'll have to see tomorrow night.
The only team that the Nets can't beat in a 7-game series, this is the only team that will put up a chance, is the Bucks, honestly.
Yeah.
And the Nets will, if the Nets fall to the A seed and the Cavs do win, the Nets
Nets
will
will
beat the Heat
yeah.
in 4 games probably. Like, I don't think that they will take a game.
Whoever the Nets play is the upside.
Yep.
That's the upset to pick.
Oh, yeah.
That's because if they play the Heat, they're going to beat them, and I think if they play the Celtics, they're going to win too. So
That's
the
what.
Nets.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty easy choice. It's the Nets.
Yeah, no, I was going to bring that up to you, Storm, because I had seen something too where now strategy in terms of
Tanking.
having the play-in
Yeah.
and with the current setup, I've heard some things saying, would Brooklyn rather lose to
play the
Cleveland
Heat.
and then play the Hornets or Hawks to play the Heat so that their path they wouldn't see the Bucks until the conference finals?
I would much rather play the Heat than the
I would
Celtics,
too.
by far. I don't think any Jimmy Butler can't lead a team to a championship. He can't.
He's got close.
He's gotten close.
Yeah, he's gotten close.
But I'm one of those guys. I don't count the bubble season, but I don't think a Miami Heat team led by Jimmy Butler will make the finals
No.
outside of the bubble.
So it sounds like the odds-on favorite in Vegas is everyone's underdog pick. Am I reading in between the lines on this one correctly?
No,
So at least me and Travis out on the limb here with the Cavs.
You
Little
are
bit
not
of a
wrong.
limit.
But we didn't talk about the Western Conference.
Yeah, my real answer.
Yeah, I got another answer.
well, we got more?
Yeah, we didn't talk about the Western Conference at all yet.
Who am I going? Okay. Yeah. Both of these teams, I don't think if they had to play anybody else in the Western Conference, I don't think they'd win the series. I got Utah over Dallas. I love Dallas and I love Luka, but their second leading scorer I think is Dwight Powell. So
And Luka's a little banged up.
and Travis mentioned he has like a calf strain or something. So I'm gonna take the Jazz. I really like Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley. They got a couple other scorers, Bogdanovich, Rudy Gobert. They got a couple guys. They've been to the playoffs too the last couple of seasons, so they're experienced. But I think neither of them are making it past the second round. Either whoever they play, Utah or Dallas in the next round, they will get beat pretty handily.
I thought you had a second one, didn't you?
Well, I had the Nets. The Nets. My second one was the Nets.
Was it who had the Nuggets and the Warriors?
Me.
Was that you?
Yeah.
Here's my question: is that with or without Steph Curry?
Gotta be
I mean,
without.
I want to consider with.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to consider it with.
Of course you do.
And
sound like
I'm not going to act like I know a ton about the Western Conference. I really just put that because I'm flashbacking to our MVP conversation, and I put that more so just to see as a test if Jokic can really carry them himself over them. And they've gone 1 and 2 against them in the regular season, but
Now, how many points do you think Jokic will have to score?
he would have to probably average like 38, 40 a night.
I agree.
There's
what
no
he's
way
been
they're beating
doing.
the Warriors.
Right.
I don't think they'll
If
beat
they
the
got,
Warriors in 7.
do the Warriors have Steph? Is he back?
He'll be back for the playoffs.
Then yeah, the Warriors are winning. The Nuggets, their second best player is like JaMychal Green.
That is true. Yeah, with no Michael Porter Jr. and no Jamal Murray.
Yeah,
Right.
It's just role players.
Yeah.
Well, let us know what you think. Do the Cavs have what it takes to get it done? Are the Nets actually the favorite to go on to the NBA Finals? Or can a Steph Curry-less Warriors team actually get some wins? We want to hear from you in the comment section. So the playoffs, of course, for the NBA, they get started this week. There's still snow on the ground here, like on the East Coast in a lot of places. They don't finish until the dead of summer in June, and it's kind of the same thing for the NHL. So I want to know, the question that has been posed, is it just too much playoffs in the NBA and NHL, G?
No. I can't speak for the NHL. I don't watch a lot of hockey,
Mic drop.
but it's a little bit more physical. So I think there's more of an argument there. But I think for the NBA, man, that's where all the fun is. If you're going to shorten anything, shorten the regular season. Playoff basketball,
I can see that.
7-game series, there's so much fun. Like the momentum going from home court advantage to the away team. It's so much fun to watch just the sides go at it. I think the NBA is perfect the way it is. My only suggestion would be maybe to lower the regular season games to maybe like 62 or something like that. But don't take away playoff basketball. That's where all the fun's at. That's where it actually gets entertaining, not when they're taking games off in the middle of December. Like, keep it the way it is in the playoffs because I think that's what makes it the most fun.
Yeah, I really do agree, and I actually agree with you that the NBA does need to shorten the regular season. The play-in tournament, that's neither here nor there for me. It's more basketball. I can't complain, but honestly, like a chance at 7 games for you to have a storybook ending 7 different times in one series, that is just awesome to me. And like in the NFL, you don't get to just see that matchup one time. You get to watch it up to a potential 7 times in every series, which is awesome to me. It's just more exciting. The best teams are playing the best teams. You're there for a reason. It's not, watching the Pistons getting throttled by the Bucks by 50 points. It's watching the teams that deserve to be in the playoffs play there.
Well,
So
in that 7-game series too, I feel like the better team comes out because it's not
Always,
like
yeah.
the NFL. It's one like you can get upset in one game because the momentum's on your side. Blah blah blah.
just like March Madness.
The better team wins in the NBA. I feel like because they got so many more opportunities to win the game with more games.
It's a 7-game series, if you're lucky enough to get one. It's like a perfectly prepared 5-course meal.
it's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's-
The first couple of games, it's just the appetizers. Just get started. Just, dabble into a few things. Get your drink on a little bit. By the time the main course comes around, that's when you really start to find out about the real matchups. That's when coaches come into the equation. And what have you learned from the first couple of games? And then if you're lucky enough to make it to dessert, man, for like a Game 6, that's just such a splendid treat for everybody. And then the Game 7 nightcap, that's the ultimate best scenario in all of sports. That is the 1-game scenario, but you've already learned so much about each other. So it's not a true, win or go home type of scenario in the sense that you get in football or March Madness where you just get one shot at them. You've learned, you've accumulated some ideas, some thoughts, you've seen it play out on the court. That's why I think that it's perfect. So the 7-game series is exactly what it is and what it should be. And do you know what happens when the NBA playoffs and NHL is over?
Baseball.
Then all we have is baseball and tennis.
But
you
at
guys
least
ain't
me and
watching
Storm
golf.
are happy with that.
Hey, baseball is pretty fun.
I
But
signed up for a 9-game
12-game series.
every NBA series is like its own finals. Like honestly, like it's just so much fun. Every series is like its own world that both teams just get enveloped. It's just so much fun to watch. Travis,
I'd just say maybe shorten the first round to best 5. I don't know how many
Oh,
upsets are in the
God.
first round.
Gosh.
I do want to say how many first round upsets happen in the NBA. Like I said, I'm not the big NBA fan, but
Not nearly
Short-
as much as hockey. 8 beats the 1 a lot.
that's true. But maybe just shorten that to 5 games, and then everything else is the same.
Well, they used to. It used to be 5-game series to start things off, and then we just decided, what's another couple of games, man? That was a lot of fun. Why don't we just do it 2 more?
What our producer Adam says, it's an entire week of your team playing, forget one day or night, but that's if your team makes the playoffs. Like, Cavs fans the last couple years.
My team did finally.
What are you going to do?
No.
Well, the beauty of it is they
true.
really elongate the whole process. You play, and then you have a couple of days off, so there's just so many games going on at the beginning. It's like kind of like the
March Madness, yeah,
It's beautiful.
especially the first week.
What do you think, Hayden? Too long? Appropriate?
Nope, it's perfect. I'll reel it back in. I agree with everyone else, and I agree with G-Man. I think where anything could get shorter is just the regular season. I feel like it's a gauntlet, and I noted that part too, because you get tired at the end of the season, as we talked about kind of with the Bucks, which I don't blame them because that's what I would do. But you get the load management and a lot of rest of stars on certain nights. I think that the regular season would be even more exciting if we had a shorter one. They want to do that because by the time you get to the playoffs, you might be run down. And you want the most out of those 7 games each series. So I think maybe just some tweaks to the regular season, and that would be all I would change.
What would be a good number? 70 games for regular season?
For basketball?
Yeah, for basketball.
No.
Even
I
lower.
think
That's
around
off or
50.
more?
I think around 50.
54.
When later start time, because you'd be playing the playoffs in winter.
Yeah, probably a later start time.
Yeah.
That's what
I mean,
would
the
say.
Stars are only playing 50 games anyways.
Right.
That's true.
It's all these rest afternoons for them. So they're basically only already in that category.
And
If we get a later start too, there's not as much baseball. Too.
That is true. There is not as much.
Credit to Adam.
I mean, 162 games. They need to shorten baseball.
Oh, don't get me
Regular
started.
season, too.
Well, and you got to think if they shorten the regular season, there would be less injuries. Like there would be less wear and tear on players. Players could play longer. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't think they'll ever do it, but I think it's a good idea.
Just because of all the statistical records and the value that holds.
And the money.
and
And
history.
the money you lose from losing 30 games.
Money
too.
rules all.
Owners would never vote on that. Yeah,
Never ever. Well, kind of talking about that 5-course meal got me a little bit hungry. I'm not gonna lie, guys, and got me thinking maybe about some of my favorite restaurants right here in our own backyard and some around the entire state and even beyond. But Travis, when you go out to eat, when you start thinking about what you want to
Here we
digest
go.
for the night and what's gonna make you real happy,
What a choice
where
you made, baby.
is that phenomenal place?
I literally go out
we
my
go.
back door, walk up a hill, and right there, bam,
Jeez.
BW3's in
Hey.
Ontario. Newly
The old
renovated,
school
too. I
name.
cannot wait to watch the Cavs tomorrow night with you, Ski, at BW3's. Hey, any of you fans, that's where we'll be if you want to watch the Cavs with us. But just the selection that they
celery.
have, the wings, the beverage, the amount of beverages they have for you out there.
sports.
It's perfect. All the TVs. It's the perfect place to go watch sports, and I love my sports. Perfect. You sit there, you have 5 different games on. It's a little piece of heaven.
Well, first off, I would like to. I need to issue an apology to G-Man.
do.
Thank you.
So I came up with this question. I will take ownership, and there's a lot of layers and levels to this question. And I had G-Man torn up at like 8 o'clock this morning, just trying to figure out where my head was at when I came up with this question. There's a lot of variables, a lot of unanswers that I could have been more specific on. So that is my public apology to Garrett, because I know how
pacing in a circle
Yeah.
and a frantic sweat. Like, oh my god.
I know how important this is to us, and how serious. So that being said, I think we've come to a point where we all agreed it was kind of all right. Yeah, if we're going out to eat, where's your head going to first? So I went. It's a chain, but it's kind of local in the sense that I don't know if they're really outside of Ohio. And I went Barrio because I'm a huge Mexican food guy, and I like the variety. You could go. I don't know how many different combinations there are, but you could go several times and never eat the same thing.
Hundreds.
So, and the chips and salsa are fire.
Guacamole
Carry
too.
on.
Next
Yeah.
level. Well, Hayden, you were talking about your favorite watering hole and how they actually had the beverage waiting for you when you showed up
Yes.
yesterday and what that meant to you.
That
And for
was
me,
deep.
there's a couple places in town where they just know my name when I walk in. They know what I want to order. They know how to treat me. And that's El Campestre on 4th Street.
Mocha
Love
head day for the
Luis,
win.
Margarito, all the staff out
Mocha
there,
head.
top notch. And then a second place, of course, it's got to be Buffalo Wild Wings.
Right?
I mean, me and my family are regulars there. We were there yesterday, actually, and the manager came over to us and said, will you please walk around and then give me some feedback about the new feng shui of the building. Just let us know what you think. So I'm a sucker for that kind of thing. They really want to hear from the customer. They got great food, great atmospheres, and that's here locally. But there is no restaurant on the entire planet that is quite as cool as the one out in Denver, Colorado, that I'm so glad got bought up. It was going under. It was going to go out of business. But Casa Bonita is back, baby. That's right. It was like walking through a lunchroom line. The food was probably like a 2 stars out of 10, but that didn't matter because they have pirate shows going on. They got a full waterfall right in the middle of the room. You can go walk in some underground caves. There's arcades. So for me, Casa Bonita, that's probably the coolest restaurant that I've ever seen, and I can't wait to go back now that the South Park guys have bought it and they got some real food. That's number one for me. But here locally, there just ain't no place like those two that I mentioned. Love them so much. Gee, since this really tore you up, I gotta know where you eventually landed in your brain.
I don't know if you
What's
did.
the best?
I honestly don't know if I did, to be completely honest with you.
Caniac
I think I just
combo?
had to put an answer on the board. And the way I took the question was, if I had to eat at a restaurant like 365 days a year, what restaurant would I pick?
Okay.
And I also thought that I had to pay for the meals.
I also thought that.
see,
So that's why I picked Chipotle, because I thought I could get the most bang for my buck. I only had to eat it once a day. Like, it would fill me up one burrito, I'm good.
Sorry.
And I got so many different combinations. So, but if I had to pick a restaurant, I'd probably pick Paula Deen's in Florida. It was a buffet. It was absolutely incredible. It was like comfort food, like pork chops, like mama's cooking. Like, it was amazing. But I think I'm going to Chipotle. I think it's an easy pick.
So it's
for
like
me.
your survival strategy move if you're a little bit thin in the wallet and you
Yeah.
gotta make it on one food for the rest of your life.
It's like $8 for like a burrito that can pack you for a full day. So I would go Chipotle. I think it's a pretty solid answer. And I'm sure that's where you're going.
That's where I was going. It's cheap, a lot of options. I can eat it once a day and be completely full. But now that I know that all my variables are thrown out the window, I'm picking Fusing in Willard. It's the best Chinese food takeout I've ever had. It is awesome. Shout out to Fusing. And I love Chinese food, so that's what I'm eating every day for the rest of my life.
From food, let's now
Sorry.
pivot to the world of video games. You know, here at the OH.Report, we try to be in tune with the younger generation. That's why we hire all these youngsters around here. And I know that they're at home, they got their sticks out, or they're playing on their phones. So I got to know, what's at the top of the charts right now. But what are y'all playing, Storm? What are you up to?
I don't know if anyone's playing what I'm playing, but I'm playing Valorant. I'm playing Elden Ring. Just 2 games I really enjoy a lot. Elden Ring, I've put like 40 hours in here recently. It's been a grind.
Is that like an RPG?
Yeah, it's like an RPG, like a Dark Souls type game. Very challenging single player game. And Valorant, tactical 5v5 shooter, very competitive. A lot like Counter-Strike 1.6 for anyone who used to play that. And there's a lot of esports tied with it that I like to watch. So that's mainly what I've been playing on my computer. So I know, Garrett, you and me, we don't really share a lot of similar tastes when it comes to video games.
Yeah, you play on PC, which I really want to get a PC to be able to play on, but I'm stuck with the PS5 for right now. So
Stuck with the
poor
PS5.
God. PS5.
What a hard
I
life.
mean, I did buy it, so I mean, my mom didn't buy it for me.
Get the kid a GoFundMe page or something.
But I mean, Madden is all I really play. I mean, you guys know how I am. You learned earlier on from my other answer. I like the behind-the-scenes kind of stuff. Not really playing the games, so to speak. More of like the scouting and the signing contracts and stuff like that. As
You
well.
remember
It's-
NFL head coach?
Yeah, so that's
That'd
something
be
I
something
really,
for you.
something I really, really enjoy. So I don't play it that much. I maybe played it an hour yesterday. Maybe played 2 games of a franchise, and like, I'm bored.
So will you assemble the roster and then simulate the games and then make strategic strategies, or do you actually play the games?
I play the games.
Do you win the Super Bowl every year?
I actually can never get through a full season because so during the regular season in the NFL, if I'll be playing throughout the year and then the Vikings will lose to the team that I have beat, I feel it's necessary to absolutely restart the entire thing and go back to where it's realistic because they actually lost that game.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm kind of weird about it.
Dedicated, man.
No, it's cool.
So like
Real,
if they
that's
lose,
dedication.
say they lose to the Panthers in week 6 and I beat them in week 6, I have to just restart. So I just restart.
That's
respect that.
dedication to the
So I
maximum.
really never end up finishing a season. So I think I've won it maybe like twice, but it's like
You like the
they
simulation.
don't actually ever win. So it's not realistic.
That's why it's a video game, man. It's out there to get that escape from reality, as Browns fans know. Because I won the Super Bowl all the time with the Browns back in the day. We all know they ain't been to a real one. Travis, you playing any games?
Yeah, I'm playing MLB The Show 22. I used to be a big fan of Madden. They have Madden Ultimate Team where you collect cards. It's pretty much like a collector card thing where you open up the pack and you get random things like that. But my buddies and I from back home would play, and he got banned. A couple years ago, they did this whole thing about banning you from the online play for cheating, whatever. He didn't cheat. He just knew how to manipulate the system to get all the coins and stuff to buy things, and he got banned. So we don't play that anymore. So we play MLB The Show, which is cool. You can create your own character, go through the minor league season, get called up, or you can play something like Madden Ultimate Team where you play challenges, you get coins, you unlock, wrapper cards that you open up and open the packs, and you try and get like the Roberto Clemente card or a Mike Trout card or stuff like that. You just build your team around there, and then you go play against other people. It's fun. It's not only you play the franchise, but you have so many other different game modes that you can build your team around.
Well, MLB has like one of the best.
Oh yeah,
Is it Diamond Dynasty? Is
yes,
that what it's called?
Diamond Dynasty. And
that's probably
they're
the
constantly
best one.
changing things too. Like Madden, where it's the same franchise mode as in 2005.
Yeah.
They actually update and constantly make things better, and they go by a lot of feedback from the fans. So it's a really cool game because you can buy it every year, and it's a little bit different than the other one.
Now, something that I'm definitely picturing in your game is you're creating yourself, Travis Berardi.
Center
got a
fielder.
what I was about to ask.
Center
Probably
fielder.
playing.
Where are you
center
playing?
field.
What's his nickname? He's got to
What's
have a
his
good
nickname?
nickname
Money.
because
Where?
Trav, that's
Money.
boring. They got
Money.
so many funny ones.
What-
there.
What Big League was not there. I was looking for Big League.
Gosh.
It was not one of the nicknames.
What position and what order? What order in the batting lineup?
Outfield, and it starts off. They put you wherever.
Yeah, you don't
like,
get to choose.
yeah, I started off lower in there and build it up. I'm more of a speed and power guy.
Oh, wow!
So
Fits him perfectly.
You got a lot
Hey.
of. You hit a lot of home runs.
I actually haven't started. I've been doing Diamond Dynasty. I
tough,
just got
yeah.
the game
He's
just
in
came
the
out last
AAA,
week, so I've been doing more
Dude,
Diamond
you should
Dynasty.
try the pitching. It's fun.
I've done pitching it last year. I did
pitching's
pitching,
fun.
and I'm like,
I'm not.
I liked it.
I got
was
lit up a
cool.
lot. You just miss a little bit, and you get, more of an outfielder.
Hayden, you got time for any games or no?
I've been slacking lately. I don't know. I personally, like in this last weekend itself, I didn't play anything. But I was talking to Travis before the show. I played the show 21, and I had never really played many of them before because I play on Xbox, and they never really had the title
Until last year, and that
yeah.
was the greatest day
Yeah.
ever when they announced that. It's awesome.
So, I mean, when I do have time, I am kind of more of the stereotypical, I like the sports games, but I am big. I mean, of course, my heart's always with NCAA football. It'll never get over that. And
Soon.
soon. But, hey, maybe with this new high school thing, we'll have that too. But,
OH.Report.
yeah, Adam, maybe we got a project. It's
Coming
time.
soon.
It's time. But, yeah, maybe I will dabble in trying to see what the show 2022 is all about.
Yeah, the last 10 years, I haven't had a video game console in my house. The only time I really play games is when I'm on the airplane, and I've had the same apps on my phone for years and years and years. I play Slither.io.
You're a big
Dude
Slither
still got
fan,
Flappy
remember
Bird. He
talking
still got
about
the
that.
OG Flappy Bird.
I still got the
I know,
OG
he's
Flappy
shown
Bird. It
me.
doesn't open anymore, but
Right.
it's on there just in case. I can never uncrack that code and dive back in. And I got something. It's like a puzzle game. A
Slither.io.
block puzzle is what it's called.
Yeah.
But I did do 3 workouts this week with Carrie Underwood on her app called Fit 52. So I wanted to get some opinion since it's interactive. So what it is every card, so say it's the 2 of diamonds, that the diamond will be a specific workout, and the 2 indicates how many reps I got to do up to ace, which is 14. So is that considered a video game since I'm interacting with the
Making
people
decisions.
out in virtual land? Because you have an instructor.
Are the cards virtual?
The cards are virtual. It's
Then
all
that's,
all
okay.
an
that's
app.
a video
Yeah,
game.
man.
That's a video
It's not
game.
one I want
I
to
think it's
play,
already
but yeah.
considered.
Yeah, I prefer my workouts in Beat Saber though.
I prefer sitting
That's
in a
true.
chair.
You're, yeah,
we
you're
have seen
Oculus,
you,
yeah.
yes.
It does actually look like a pretty good workout.
They make workout games and
There
stuff
you go.
for it too. So maybe you should get an Oculus. That'll help your workout.
Yeah.
I'm sure my kids would oblige to that.
They probably got boxing.
They got boxing. They got
That'd be fun.
like
Yeah.
stuff that makes you like do squats and stuff. It's all just tricking you into actually doing exercise.
I remember when the Xbox Connect
Yes.
first came out.
I had that.
There was a street fighting game. If you guys played that one,
Mm-hmm.
and I would be ripping sweat at the end because just you're trying to get in 100
Mm-hmm.
blows a second just to make sure you get through all the bad guys. So maybe that's a good idea.
Yeah, you can't put on the VR headset after G-Man. He sweats too much.
funny.
You gotta wring it out after.
Hey, I'm the
Let it
best
dry.
QB there is, though.
In virtual
In
football.
virtual football. So,
Little update: our favorite viewer of the OH.Report is watching right now, Linda Mendoza.
oh yeah.
She gave us a shout out. Thank you, OH.Report. Awesome show. We love you, Linda.
Big hearts to you.
Shout out.
Also, Wyatt Richardson, another fan watching, says he put the sliders up for MLB and hit bombs on my player. It's
That's
just
the way
like
to do it.
bombs.
Yep.
It's the fun way to go. But
Turn them sliders up.
got to give Linda a shout out.
Yeah, what's up, Linda Mendoza? I'm still waiting on those tamales. I'm gonna come through. I'm gonna help though. I
they're
know it's
so
a full
good,
day
man.
process. We'll be out in Willard one day. The whole clique. We'll be like your little slaves, and we'll knock out hundreds of those things, and we'll probably eat them all in the one day. I would
They're easy
assume.
to eat. Yeah.
Well, I know it's like baseball season, and
Yeah.
basketball's coming to a close, but really in America, isn't it always football season, guys? That's one thing that I know. And there's a
Now it
brand
is.
new, exciting league that's about to get started up this weekend,
Yes.
the USFL. And I don't know about y'all at home, but guess what? We are fully on board for this. We are jumping on the bandwagon, and we've all got our favorite teams. So we're going to let you know who they are and why they're going to win the entire championship, the Super Bowl of the USFL, whatever that's called, if they do finish the season. My team's going to be there. I'll tell you who that is in a minute, but we'll let Travis go first. Who you cheering on this year and why they're going to win?
Who do you expect?
Boo.
The Pittsburgh Maulers from the City of Champions. They're going to bring home the championship despite maybe one or two guys I actually know on the roster, because there's a lot of younger, unknown names. I do know Isaiah
Ooh.
Battle, tackle from Clemson, helped lead that line to a national championship. Quarterback by the name of Josh Love from San Jose State. Dropping dimes in there, but yeah, the Pittsburgh Maulers, even though they're not even playing in Pittsburgh like they did back in the 80s, they play at Three Rivers Stadium, but this whole league's played in Birmingham, Alabama, in a couple stadiums there, so that's kind of unique, but the Pittsburgh Maulers, you better believe it. Even though they're not black and gold, they're purple and
whatever.
orange, so all right, that's my
gonna be
team.
Unique that they're all staying in that same town.
Yeah.
because there
It's like a
probably
bubble.
are only going to be so many
It is
like
like a
cool
bubble.
clubs to go out to. There's going to be some head-to-heads, I think, out in the streets.
Little board
Kinda
wars,
like,
yeah.
yeah, like some Cobra Kai action, I think, coming soon.
Yeah.
Hayden, who's going to win the whole league?
Well, that's going to be my New Jersey Generals. I'm proud to say I've been a fan since day one. Now, I was going to say since day one because I thought this was brand new. That shows
was
off
that,
my
last
age.
week?
They have existed
Last Monday.
before. But, yeah, since last week, I've been a true diehard fan. Still need to get some gear ready for my team playing in the first ever inaugural game for this new rebranding for the new season. We're going to play this Saturday, so we're going to get a big dub. The Stallions don't stand a chance against us, and my running back, Mike Weber, former Buckeye stud, almost a 3,000-yard rusher. So that's right, I.O. New Jersey Generals unmatched, and anyone who has to talk after me better have a good pitch because no one's beating the Generals.
I got a good pitch. His name's Shea Patterson. Former Michigan QB. But hey, it was pretty obvious that big Michigan Panthers guy. 1983 USFL champs.
Yeah, what a
the
year, man.
only football championship Detroit has had to hoist in the last 60 years. So
There's a good 30 for 30 about the USFL that you go back and watch.
hey, 1983, we're going back and we're gonna party like it's 1983 when Shea Patterson hoists that trophy. I'll tell you that much.
All right, guys. Let me tell you here. The Tampa Bay Bandits are going to walk out of Alabama. Is that what we said?
Yeah.
Birmingham.
Yeah, Birmingham.
Birmingham, Alabama, hoisting the trophy, and here's why. I don't know if any of you have watched Last Chance U.
Yes.
John Franklin III is so fast. He can play. He originally was a quarterback. He got moved to wide receiver when he got to the NFL. He actually played for the Bucks the year they won the title.
He is a
so
stud.
champion experience already on the roster at wide receiver. He's going to be the quickest guy out there, and is the first headline when I search up the Tampa Bay Bandits. Michigan Panthers and Bandits open as betting favorites to win the
I
USFL
can't help it.
championship.
That Shea
Man,
Patterson.
So,
their books are not even
I'll
right.
see you guys when I got the
Historically-
Their
ring on
books
my
are holding
finger.
L's.
We'll see, man.
Underdogs rise to the top every single day, just like the Houston Gamblers are about to do, guys. So those were all really compelling arguments. But you know what you don't have going for you? Everything's bigger in Texas, just like our offensive line. I seen all them 300-pounders that we got on the roster. That's right. We're going to be able to move the pile any which way that we want. It's Houston, baby, so you know that we're right there next to NASA. we're bound to skyrocket, take off, and get to the top of the league. And here's a couple of guys you definitely want to keep an eye on. How about JoJo Ward from Hawaii? You ever heard of this guy? Me either. No, but he's a 5'9" wide receiver, only listed at about $160. What's that going to look like on the field? Probably pretty lightning quick, like two cats. So look out for JoJo. Devwa Whaley, a running back from Arkansas, so he's real close to home. He's going to be comfortable. He's going to be confident. Those are going to be our two studs. But remember the name Kenji Bahar. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. That's our quarterback. He's a big, strong-arm kid from Monmouth. I didn't know they had a football program, but now that I do know they have one, I'm sure they were good when he was there. I will almost guarantee it. I'm a gambling man. That's why I'm rolling with the Gamblers. Number 1.
You do win with the best name. I'll give you that much. Gamblers is the best.
I think the
title.
Bandits are. So see,
Really?
I don't change. I don't change up on my team. Storm, you're already changing up.
Gamblers got
not
the
a
best
real
name.
one.
I can't help that I love blackjack so much. Like,
I
So,
can't help that I love winning.
I believe that we're going to keep you guys up to date week after week here on the podcast. We're going to let you know our head-to-heads and how those are going, and we'll probably get some fun bets when our teams are going against each other.
yeah.
I got you Sunday, T.
whoever loses, like whoever
down.
comes in dead last in the league, like
Downtown.
it's got to be like fantasy football.
Yeah,
So
we got to
they
have
gotta
some
do something.
stipulation.
24 hours in an IHOP.
24 hours.
Every
Travis,
pancake
you heard
you
it
eat
here.
takes off an hour.
Travis is gonna have to spend 24 hours.
saw
in
that.
Do
that
they
Guy
even
with
stay
the
open
Waffle
that long
House,
anymore?
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude was struggling at the end.
They do have gluten-free pancakes. Not that I'm looking to lose. They do
I'm
have
not losing.
gluten-free
I mean,
pancakes
I'm
at
the betting
IHOP
favorite
now,
to
so I
win.
am
Panthers are
eligible
gonna
for the
win.
So
bonus.
whoever finishes last spends 24 hours in the
But the
IHOP.
funny thing is, it's probably going to be
Pancake you eat
Jory.
takes off an hour.
She's going to
So
have
if
to
you
spend
eat
24 hours in an
pancakes,
IHOP.
you leave.
So it's us right here, us 5, and then also our producer Adam Thompson. He's got the
Yeah.
Stars out of
Yeah.
Philadelphia. Jory's got the Breakers.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere?
Hey, I want to say something about Jory's team. Jory, you guys got an ex-Viking on your team, Kyle Sloter. He's going to be your QB. You guys might actually win it all.
Look
He's
at
a
this guy
dog.
switching up. I don't switch
He's a
up on my
dog.
team.
No, he's a
Garrett.
Viking. He's a dog. I'm telling you.
G-Man
And that's
switching
coming from the
up.
general manager of the team. So he
Yeah.
knows. He dives deep.
Yeah.
At least I don't have to worry about it.
Speaking of quarterbacks, and really good quarterbacks, we'd like to wrap up the show today with just an RIP to, one of the greats of all time in the history of Ohio State football, Dwayne Haskins. Just one of the saddest things that I've heard about in a long time, what just happened to him the other day. So, gone way too early, playing quarterback for Pittsburgh, and I'm sure a lot of you guys will remember during his last season at Ohio State, everything that he was able to do on the football field, but then also off the field, always smiling. A guy that was really well loved. I went through my Twitter feed. That's all that I saw yesterday. Just an outpour. People showing pictures, and in every one of them, Dwayne Haskins is smiling. But when he was on the field during his last season, broke Drew Brees' Big Ten record for passing touchdowns, top Matt Painter's passing yards record, single game passing yards with 458 for the Buckeyes, single game pass touchdowns, not once, but twice for Ohio State, a program they've done some nice things throughout their entire history. And then he also had a record 6 Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week award. So RIP to Dwayne Haskins. What a big loss for the Ohio State community and just football at large. So just let you know how precious life really is. And I mean, if you can be an NFL quarterback and just have it taken from you like that right after a practice, it can happen to anybody. So you'll be missed, Dwayne. Love you, man. That's all I got.